Policies and design choices in control. Organizations have three options in exercising control. First, centralization or delegation. Next, formal and informal. Next, direct or indirect. Preferences for one or a mix of all options are method of judgment. Judgment in turn could be based on theory, practice, or premonition. Each option has relevance in a particular situation. Here we shall briefly consider the three options mentioned above. Centralization or delegation. The concept of centralization, decentralization, and delegation were discussed in the previous unit. Delegations and interdepartmental coordination. Centralization is an approach where control is exercised by the chief executive or the top management group, comparing a few individual. Others in the lower rungs of hierarchy cannot act on their own or use their discretion. Thus, functional autonomy will be lacking at operating levels. Delegation, on the contrary, manifests transfer of decision making authority downwards and outwards within the formal structure. For example, in a multi plant situation, managers may take decisions without having to seek prior consent of head office on financial matters involving a sum of not more than 2 lakhs in each transaction. This is an instead of delegation of financial powers. If a transaction involves a expenditure of 2.5 lakhs, the plant manager will have to refer to the head office, which exercises control over the decision. Sometimes decision making power is transferred downwards in a hierarchy, prescribing limits on the scope and type of decisions. For example, a branch manager is allowed to spend up to Rs 5,000 per month on consumables without referring upwards for approval, so long as it falls within the monthly budget. Here, although the decision making power is transferred, overall control is incorporated into an arrangement. Where delegation occurs in an organization wide constant, it becomes decentralization. Centralized control. First point is make it easier to coordinate the activities of various subunits, departments in an organization. Next point is seeks to achieve balance among various functions because the top management can be expected to have a broad organization wide perspective. Next point is prove more useful because control will be in the hand of senior experienced top executive. Next point is necessary to meet extraordinary situations. And the next point is economical, since duplication in activities and resources use can be avoided. Delegation and decentralization too have positive features. First point is they relieve the top management from overload. Second is motivate individuals to give better performance due to opportunities for individual freedom, discretion, and control. Next point is contribute to the personal and professional development of manager. And the next point is people at operating levels are more knowledgeable about the dynamics in decision making situations and can be expected to take appropriate actions to suit local conditions. This is particularly true in the case of large and widely dispersed units. And the next point is afford afford prompt actions, and provides flexibility. As seen above, both the beneficial but each one is appropriate for specific conditions and situations. The option is to be exercised at two levels. First, in respect of different types of decisions which vary in importance. Next is the contingencies and capabilities of manager in the total context of the organization. Strategic decision making and control can be centralized, routine operational matters can be delegated and decentralized. Large organizations with widely dispersed units find a greater need for delegation. Formal or informal. Formalization refers to establishing writing policies, procedures, rule, etc., which prescribe the do's or don'ts. As organizations grow, formalization grows. Formalization renders activities more predictable in a desired direction and facilitates coordination and control. In large organizations where it is no longer possible to retain high degree of centralized controls, formalizations helps to retain consistency and continuity by restraining the negative effects of delegation and decentralization. Formalization is appropriate for large organizations operating in conditions of stability, but in today's fast changing environment, complete formalizations may not be desirable and predictable. Excessive formalization vitiates the complete climate for initiative and employees' freedom in performance, result in employees' resistance, and may even become counterproductive. Formalization can be effective in so far as policies, procedures, and rules are flexible enough and reviewed periodically to make them appropriate to current changing situation. Direct or indirect. There are two ways of controlling. One way is to survive subordinates activities closely, trace deviations to the persons reliable responsible and get them to correct their practices. This is called indirect control. The other way is to develop high quality managers who will probably understand the and apply managerial principles, functions, techniques, and philosophy, make few mistakes, and initiate corrective actions wherever necessary themselves. This is called direct control. The higher the quality of manager and their subordinates, the less will be the need of indirect controls. Exercising close supervisions through indirect controls adds to overhead costs and reduces employee motivations. Modern management practices all call for a greater degree of self control, which in effect means direct control by those who perform work. With the revolution in the information technology using computers, control can be exercised through real time information, that is, gathering information on what is happening as events are occurring. This made it easy for organizations to combine direct controls and indirect controls. But here, indirect control is exercised not through close personal supervision but through modern technology, and hence, several of the negative features of close personal supervisions of superiors, such as infringement on freedom of operations and subjectivity in evaluation, are avoided. Direct control hastens corrective actions, lighten and burden caused by indirect control, and subordinates feel less concerned about superiors subjectivity in rating their performance, because in indirect control one would feel a close relationship between performance and measurement.